So let's talk about big data. It's this big buzzword. But, you know, turning all of that data into something that actually makes my life more useful, that's hard. So I want to know how you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before that data, perhaps, if you look back at this era and sort of try to understand what's the big technology shift, it's, I think, going to be characterized by what we did with data. In fact, there was this quote from the CEO of Rent the Runway, which I just heard, which is actually a very good one, which is, it says that you have to rely more on data than intuition. But the reality is, any entrepreneur does both. It's sort of data is assisting your intuition. And that, I think, is going to be perhaps the big change that we're going to see in the years to come, and probably will characterize this era where the data culture is what transforms businesses and how we work. And the reason is simple, because what's happening is pretty much every device has an exhaust of data. Every application on those devices is an exhaust of data. You even have quantified self, like fitness trackers, the Internet of Things, all of it. I mean, take all the buzzwords. What do they all accumulate to? They accumulate a lot of data. And the question is, what do you do? How are you going to refine that exhaust and convert it into fuel? That's the challenge. And to do that, you need to ask these questions. That's why, even for us inside of Microsoft, starting with me and my leadership team, it's as much about culture change. For example, each quarter we go in and we talk about our financial results. We all know that revenue and profit are lagging indicators of success, not the leading indicators of success. So the question is, how is data helping you stay in touch with what are the leading indicators of success? So in our case, for example, usage is a big deal. So we have, in fact, developed all these metrics and vocabulary that's become the parlance even of how we communicate with each other, how we sort of report to each other.
So I want to hear more about that. I mean, do you have 6 or 8 metrics that are the magic metrics?
We definitely have some, what I sort of think about as metrics that are the leading indicators of success, that monotonically can be improved, are gold. In fact, we sort of say we've got to put our smartest people not on building features, but building these leading indicator metrics that tell us what to build. So, for example, one of the metrics that we look at, and in fact we do this even in Windows 10 today. I mean, this is so new, of even thinking of a client operating system more as a service, and really looking at daily active, monthly active, the ratio of daily to monthly active, and then saying which features, what workflows, in fact, help us increase that usage. That's really where it's at. And in fact, it's the same data feedback loop that we want to even give organizations through things like Org Analytics and Delve, so that the organization can be more productive. So I look at this chain of questions that I think all of us should be asking. What happened? Why did it happen? What is going to happen? What should I do?
Right.
And to be able to have the tools to help you with those questions is the culture that you need to propagate.
Right. So part and parcel with that is Microsoft's cloud business, which is on track to reach, I think, $20 billion in revenue by 2018. Is that right?
Yep, that's our goal.
So tell us a little bit about the significance of the cloud business for Microsoft.
I mean, it's already a very big business for us. We have a $90+ billion company, and so an $8.5 billion SaaS business that's growing at close to 100% seems small, but it is an amazing. We are the largest SaaS company at this point in terms of just growth of our cloud business. That's Office 365, what we're doing with Azure and many other solutions, and it's great to see the growth. But the thing that it's done for us is it's not a one-for-one move. For example, what I showed in Office 365. So it's not like, we just moved Exchange on-premise to Exchange as a service. It changes the value proposition for the customer, the value they get from e-discovery to org analytics to really the machine learning that helps you get more out of your time.
Right.
And not only that, in fact, I worked on our servers for many years, and we used to dream of selling servers to small businesses. We sold a lot, but now we're adding 50,000 small businesses each month to Office 365. So to us, it's a big, big business. It's a big sort of mission for us, and we feel pretty excited about it.
And that's really something you can that you could never do before, just the way that you can scale.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? What it would have taken in the previous era to be able to set up Skype for Business, have all of OneDrive, do all the things that I talked about. But now you can just sign up for Office 365 as a 2%, 3%, 5% company and have it all.
So Satya, I know you just sat down again, but I was wondering if you wanted to share another demo.
Yeah, the last demo that I want to show you is around this notion of data and data as that real currency for your company. And right here, in fact, is a Windows machine that I'm going to log into. It's, I don't know if you noticed, what it did was it did Windows Hello. So this is our replacement to password. So it just recognized my face, and it logged me in right into Windows. So we're very, very excited about this. I was just reading someone in Australia ran an experiment even. They took identical twins and tried to sort of fool the system, and they couldn't. So that was a good test. So I'm logged into Power BI. There are two real things that I believe are very, very important. In a world of big data, recognizing small patterns becomes the most important thing for an organization and for an individual. Because in the sea of data, you've got to be able to see those small patterns to help you drive action. And then the second thing is to infuse into every application you build, in your IT, in your business unit, not just the SaaS applications that you buy, but into every applications you build, machine learning. Because that's how you can harness the power of data. So those are the two ends of the spectrum I just want to quickly show you. So this is a dashboarding tool that we built. And Power BI has this one cool feature. Of course, you can build the dashboard and the visualizations. I, for example, go every day to see those daily active, monthly active for all of our services. And that's how I start my day. In this case, it's a sales dashboard. But what we've done is we've said it's made it easy for you to go get the variety of data sources. Salesforce is one of the data sources. We have MailChimp. We have pretty much all of the SaaS applications that you may want to use. But it's not just the the third-party SaaS applications, but one of the other things is you inside of your organization have lots and lots of data. And so you want to be able to go get at that data as well. And so being able to conflate data from third-party SaaS applications, your local data sources, creation of these dashboards is super important. But the magic for me is not just the visualizations, but this is just a canvas for you to be able to recognize those patterns. So that means you should be able to do Q&A or just ask it natural language questions. So let's say I'll go into my social analytics dashboard, and I will go ahead and just type in a number of tweets by hashtag. Right, there it is. And it's not only picking the data, but it's in fact picking the visualization to represent it in. I can even keep enhancing it, so I not only want to do it by hashtag, but I want to do it and sentiment. And then I want to do it in the last hour. And there it is. So it is able to take a natural language query. And what it did is it took the Twitter fire hose, processed it in real time, understood my natural language query, picked the right visualization. That's the magic of real-time business. And imagine having that for every data stream of yours, but more importantly, all of the data that you join across all of the different sources. So that's a little bit of Power BI. One of the other things I wanted to show you is, in fact, a third-party app, which is a third-party app called Alpine Metrics, which is a Salesforce add-in. So this is right in Salesforce. Alpine Metrics has built an application that does forecasting. I'm told that one of the most subjective things in the world is salespeople's estimates of their ability to close a deal. And so one of the things that they're trying to do is let's bring some data science to it. So they track something like 50 different signals and are, for example, in this case, the team is estimating to have a great quarter, they're going to close the deal, but the system is saying, hey, you might have a problem. So that's coming because of the Alpine Metrics analytics tool. And that analytics tool is built on Cortana Analytics, which is a core part of Azure. Now I have that data. But we've also gone one step further. In fact, it also tells the various teams in my organization and their close rates and what it predicts will happen. So I can go ahead and, in fact, because of Cortana, I can even integrate it with my voice commanding. So I can just go ahead and ask for it. Show me my most at-risk opportunities. No, that's not what I want. Let's try it again. Show me my most at-risk opportunities. Oh, come on.
Okay, starting remote.
If this, one last try. Let's try it. Show me my most at-risk opportunities. No, this is not going to work. Sorry about that. But if I go back in here, someone's trying to save me from backstage, is it? No. No, this is not going to work. Sorry about that. The thing that it would have done is it should have shown me the most risky opportunity and helped me out. There it is. Thank you for the save from backstage. And this one allows me now to go ahead and select the best owner for the risky opportunity, because it even finds out, if I click on the best owner, it runs, again, a machine learning algorithm, and it shows which salesperson perhaps has the best chance to close this particular deal. So now I can go into Salesforce and assign this deal, because, again, you're using machine learning to help you drive your business applications versus just relying on any one individual user by taking advantage of all of the data that's there in the system. So that shows you a little bit of the power of Cortana Analytics and what kind of new intelligent applications you can build. Now, it's not just about sales automation. Think about what this could do to our healthcare system. Right? If you look at data and harnessing data to drive economies, no better place to start than our healthcare. And Dartmouth Hitchcock is a great customer of ours who's got a real vision of how to use data to drive a different type of personalized health outcomes and care. So let's roll the video.
The U.S. healthcare system is challenged by the task to deliver exceptional, personalized care at a lower cost. Despite spending nearly 1/5 of our gross domestic product on healthcare, we struggle to meet this goal. Financial pressures on care providers are increasing. This isn't sustainable. So how can we deliver high-quality, personalized care that patients deserve, given the cost pressures we face? At Dartmouth Hitchcock, we've created Imagine Care, a new cloud-based solution built on Cortana Analytics Suite that enables providers to help patients achieve better health. With the help of Microsoft, Dartmouth Hitchcock is building a technology platform to serve healthcare organizations and patients across the country, setting a new standard for personalized care. Now, using machine intelligence, providers can develop a care plan that's unique to each patient. We can monitor patients from their homes, where data is collected from devices and sent to the cloud, to Imagine Care's 24/7 contact center, where registered nurses continually monitor a patient's health status and potentially serious trends.
Cortana, summarize health status for Ben Andrews.
Ben Andrews' weight has increased more than 2 pounds in the last 24 hours. Please review the home diuresis protocol prescribed by Dr. Phillips.
Patients get reminders and encouragement and dynamic updates to their care plans, improving their health, helping them avoid unnecessary trips to the emergency room, and reducing the cost of care. With support from loved ones and real-time interventions, there is less likelihood of readmission. With Cortana Analytics Suite, we're transforming the way healthcare is delivered today, improving patient outcomes, reducing costs, and offering an unprecedented level of personalized care.
was really fascinating, Satya. Particularly fascinating to see the way in which the machine learning allowed a business to figure out which salespeople they should maybe take off the case, because it was definitely not going to work to just reassign something. So let's talk a little bit about this notion of personal computing. What do you mean by that?
We talked about that mobility of experience, and to me, you really don't think about a personal computer, but think about personal computing that's going to be part of our lives. And so it can be a PC, it can be a laptop, it can be a smartphone, it can be sensors in your home or at work, big screens, small screens. We're building our platform, Windows 10, to really bring about this revolution of personal computing, where it's about mobility of the experience, not a single device. It is about natural interactions. I mean, think about all the things I did in all the demos we talked about. You know, there was speech, there was text, there was input with natural language understanding, there was vision, computer vision, and the way I sort of logged into a Windows machine. Of course, there was touch. And that's what it is. I mean, holographic computing is another form of input-output change. And so to me, that's the vision. And Windows 10 is built with that. It's not just another release of Windows for me. It's the beginning of a new generation of Windows. We're very happy with the sort of first 1 month and a few days where we now have 75 million active Windows 10 users, which is by itself unprecedented.
So to build that new generation, what things need to happen differently? Does it change the way, for example, that you have relationships with partners? Does it change your relationships with developers?
It absolutely does in both cases, which is it really requires us to be at our best in building platforms, which means you have to, for example, with developers, one of the key things that they care a lot about, third-party developers, is their ability to reach the vast number of users. In our case, you can build to the Windows platform and reach Xbox users, the holographic users, our phone users, our tablet users, or even Internet of Things. And so it's one platform. So that's why, code reuse is a big deal. The ability to kind of get the maximum out of their investment on a platform is a big deal. For IT, what matters is control and security. Take even the simple aspect of patching and keeping something constantly updated for security. Because the attack vectors nowadays are pretty complex. You get attacks, in fact, it's not even the computing endpoint, it's the HVAC system that's the new attack vector. And so you really need to think about what's the system that's going to make sure that an endpoint is always up to date. And so that's something that we want to do for IT. But for the end user, ultimately, it has to be about the experience. So to me, being able to build the devices, build the device experiences, and creation of platforms for IT and developers is what we do for a living, and that's sort of what we've gotten right with Windows 10.
So let's talk about HoloLens. Where is it right now, and is it where you thought you would be right now?
It is just simply mind-blowing. I mean, see, here's the fascinating thing. I've been using it over the last multiple months on a pretty constant basis. And for me, even every day, it's just such a different type of computer. And our industry, I've sort of talked about this, is punctuated by these category creation moments, especially when input and output changes. And this is for the first time where you have not just a mirror world, right? If you look at our history, what we have done is we have digitized the real world, right? We've created metaphors like the desktop or the smartphone with a set of icons. But this is a place where digital output is mixed in with the real world. So that's why we call it the mixed reality.
Right.
And we are at the very beginning of understanding even how we're going to deal with this medium. As developers, as users, as every one of us. And so I'm very, very excited about HoloLens. I think as we get out the dev kit, and in fact some of the industrial and the enterprise scenarios are going to be, for architecture, industrial design, healthcare, We're doing a lot of work with many partners, and we're very excited about it. Maybe we should roll the video just to sort of give you a flavor for the kinds of things we're doing with HoloLens.
Sure. Do we have a video?
Look around. Technology is all around us. We use it in every aspect of our lives. It enables us to do amazing things. But what if we could go further? What if we could go beyond the screen? Where your digital world is blended with your real world. Now we can. This is the world with holograms. What will they enable us to do? New ways to visualize our work.
I have an idea for the fuel tank.
New ways to share ideas with each other.
How are things going your end?
I just put the images in OneDrive.
Perfect.
More immersive ways to play. New ways to teach and learn.
So put the new trap in the place of the old one.
Now what?
And tighten here and here.
New ways to collaborate and explore the places we've never been.
Look at this formation. Let's take a closer look.
And new ways to create the things we imagine. Because when you change the way you see the world, you can change the world you see. This is Microsoft HoloLens.
Satya, that is so cool. I don't think there's anyone in the audience who wouldn't look at that world on that video and think, I want in now. So how close are we really?
The last public thing I've said about this is that we will get it out in a dev kit by next year for sure. And so this is going to be a 5-year journey because we want to get it out to developers, we'll get it out to enterprises, and then we'll learn. But we'll get it out next year, and then we'll iterate from there.
So the developers that you're going to target with this, I'm curious who they are as well. And my godsons are too. They would like you to get right on the Minecraft version of that.
That's right. The Minecraft, gaming is also going to be reimagined for this because it's very different. Like what's happening, obviously, there's the PC gaming, there is mobile gaming, there's Xbox gaming. There's also going to be VR because the other thing that we're also excited about, partnering with, in fact, Oculus, Steam, and others. Next spring, I think they're all going to have virtual reality goggles, and in most of those cases, they're going to be tethered to a Windows 10 machine, in fact, with Xbox controllers. That's going to be a very different genre, where it's all fully occluded, and it's going to be very amazing experiences. AR, or mixed reality, is about mixing the real world and the digital world. In fact, that's kind of the thing. I put it on, and I roam around my house, and you continue to have your conversations, and you literally have these digital artifacts. And so it's different. And gaming is also going to be reimagined. So to your point about the kinds of developers, even the classic game developers, like Minecraft, are building a very different type of game for this new medium.
Right. But I guess what I'm getting at is the audience that you're really interested in initially is an enterprise audience for this, right?
It's going to be definitely the single application used in the enterprise is going to be easy. Already we have good traction. The industrial design. I mean, if you use AutoCAD Maya on HoloLens, there's no going back if you're an industrial designer, because you literally see the output of what you're designing right next to you, and you can imagine. Architects, the same thing.
Right.
So those are easy to, I think, imagine. Now, what are all the other use cases? You saw Skype. right? That's the thing that we want to sort of look at and see how that changes how people communicate. How does customer service change?
Right.
How does gaming come through? I, for example, watch a lot of video. I found it like, hey, even Coursera. So I put up Coursera on one side and I have my Edge browser on the other. And I find like, wow, this is a fantastic digital learning platform for me. And so there's lots of different things, and time will tell. But we are very, very clear that there are some enterprise scenarios that we already think are going to be big hits.
Right. So I just want to ask you a couple of big picture questions. I want to know what keeps you up at night right now. What are you most worried about? And we only have 10 minutes.
I think it's what keeps me up at night and what wakes me up in the morning is just the same thing. It's our living culture. And, it's sort of a cliche perhaps to say culture is everything, but it is. Because I don't think our success is going to be determined by anything other than our culture facilitating everyone at Microsoft being able to do their best work. So I always ask myself, what is it that's keeping us at an individual level? Because that's especially one of the things that I've really understood what even the CEO's job is. What is it that you do as a CEO? I mean, it is about curation of culture. We can talk a lot about vision. Of course, if I get the vision wrong or my judgment about where to focus wrong, we can, create issues.
Right.
But my real job is curation of culture. And that's what I think about. And you don't get it right all the time. And so that's why I think being both staying up at night and thinking about it and getting up, making sure that you're energized about the things that you want to do so that everyone in the company can do their best work. That's where it is.
And, it's not lost on me, Satya, that we're meeting here at a Salesforce event. I keep seeing Microsoft pop up in the most unexpected of places, be it an Apple event. That's by design. You've really prioritized partnerships and working newly in partnership. And I want to know where the challenges have been along that path.
I think Mark captured it well when he talked earlier, because if you look at our industry, how is our industry going to succeed? It's only going to succeed if we can add value to our customers. Our customers are going to make choices that make the most sense for them, and they're not going to be homogeneous choices. They're going to use all of our different applications. They're going to use multiple platforms. And it's incumbent on us, especially for those of us who are platform vendors, to partner broadly to solve real pain points our customers have. So that's really how I've approached it. I don't think of it as a zero sum with any one competitor. We're going to compete vigorously in certain domains. But the total opportunity for us to take the power of digital technology and empower every person and every organization is so huge that these partnerships, I think, really only help amplify that. And that's why we're here. We were at the Apple event, I guess, last week. And they're all testament to sort of both what is it that is our computing vision,
right,
and also the realities of our customers.
So we're not done yet, guys. We've heard a lot about productivity in our time together. We've heard about your efforts with Cortana Analytics. We've seen your really cool iPhone Pro. But I don't want to close today before talking about something else that Mark has talked a lot about in the last couple of days. It's very important to him, which is the relationship between business and community and the priority that education has to be. And that's a passion you share, and I understand you have an announcement.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about our own mission around empowerment, I was in Kenya for the Windows 10 launch, and I went up to Nanyuki, which is around 200 kilometers north of Nairobi, and I went to a school there And we upgraded that school to Windows 10, and we did a Skype classroom call, in fact, from Kenya to a school in India that was, in fact, getting last-mile connectivity through a project we were doing using TV white spaces. And it was just mind-boggling. I mean, all this technology to do what? To democratize access to rural students in Kenya and India so that they can learn.
Yeah.
And so that they can participate in the future economy, where the jobs are going to be driven by computer literacy. So to me, what Mark talked about and what he's doing, especially today, I believe, is dedicated to education. It's the thing that's going to make a difference in economies, in societies. In fact, I'm so pleased today we are making the commitment of $75 million over the next 3 years to take computer science education to all communities so that in K through 12, boys and girls can get educated in computing skills, because that's, I think, one of the most important skills. It's not just for the computing industry, but computational thinking is going to be relevant in pretty much every aspect of our economy. And it's got to start by us saying, let's bring that skill so that it's taught in our schools, like biology or like chemistry,
right.
So that computer science and computational thinking becomes that mainstream. So this commitment of ours will fund lots of nonprofit organizations and communities to be able to bring that. And there's a specific program that I love. It's called TEALS, which got started by a very passionate Microsoft employee, and it's scaling. It stands for Technical Education and Learning Services. In fact, what it does is one of the key challenges in computer science education is teachers. So what it bridges people with computer science skills from our industry to go into schools all over, rural, urban, so that they can teach the kids computer science. And so we already have reached over 130 schools, 6,000 students in 18 states, and we want to scale it by fivefold, 30,000 students in the next 3 years. And so that's a program that we are very, very excited about. In fact, in San Francisco, I was just reading about it today, there's a girl, Victoria Tran, whose parents came over from Vietnam, and she was part of the TEALS program, and now she's teaching TEALS. So she's doing these coding camps for other girls to get into computer science. And it's just not us, it's really what we as an industry or across industries need to do. So it's the challenge for us all to imagine a brighter future for all our kids, and think about the programs you can create, the people you can inspire. And that, I think, is what is the rallying cry of the day.
So the TEALS program is in 130 schools. You want to scale that by fivefold, you said. Where do those people come from?
No, this is about basically every school, if it's going to have computer science education, you need teachers ultimately who are going to teach it. And that's going to be the school system. I think the New York governor had a great sort of thing about it's going to be a 10-year journey.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is accelerate that by making sure that people in our industry who have the computing skills can volunteer their time to teach the students, teach the teachers, and that's what the TEALS program does.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Satya, for being here today, and I can't wait for next year.
Thank you so much. It's such an opportunity. Thank you, Mark.